All right, so I'm about to ruffle some feathers, and we're going to start a new segment. It's going to be ruffling some feathers, a segment I've always wanted to start, and maybe I'll bring this to Lions Syndicate, but we going to ruffle some feathers today. Dan Campbell said in his press conference, we just talked about it, that Brad is cooking. He been on the phones, he cooking, and it might be a trade that happens in the next 24 hours. I mean, he jumped up excited. He's playing with us. I appreciate that. Keeps the content flowing. I appreciate it. He ain't gonna give out what they doing. I understand that. But I wanna say something real quick. Being a fan is a unique situation because you got people on all ends of the spectrum. You got the people that it doesn't matter what the Detroit Lions do or their team in particular. They are gonna ride, die, spend money, do whatever it takes. They gonna be there and cool. Those are those fans. And then you got me, who I wasn't giving them anything, especially my hard-earned money, if they didn't care what they gave me. All right? Now, those days are gone. But now we're in a point where the Detroit Lions, for the first time, really, in the last 30-something years, are true contenders. I think this team is better than the team that contended in the early 90s. I'm going to keep it a buck, right? However, okay, I'm going to ruffle some feathers today. Why? How? Because I'm going to talk about your Lord and Savior, Brad Matthias Jerome Cornelius Holmes. And that is not his name, but that's the one I've given him. 5 names. That's, when you used to get in trouble back in the day and your mama said your whole name? So that's why I say his whole name. Now let's talk about the good from Bradley Matthias. He has turned this team around from the joke that it was with Matt Patricia. Year 1, he had 5 draft picks. And out of those 5 came Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just 2 of the many people we can name. The fact that only 1 of his draft picks is not currently on the team. And it won't always be like that. The team will get better. Draft picks will leave. But I think that's a big testament to his drafting ability. Now let's talk about the bad. And the bad is that Brad is, and this is what grinds my gears, and I'm about to ruffle some feathers, because there's 2 terms that we hear as Lions fans, okay? There's 3. There's 3. 1 is, I trust Brad. 2 is, trust the process. 3 is, and my favorite is, let Brad cook. Now, let me remind you that we talked about in Friday's show. I remember that the same Lions fans that probably wore Detroit Rams shirts, because y'all despicable, are the same ones that had Matt Patricia's face on a shirt that said, "In Patricia, we trust." How did that turn out? Now, let Brad cook. What has Brad cooked up at the trade deadline that has been worth anything? Last year, you know what Brad cooked up? Donovan Peoples-Jones. And we didn't even need a wide receiver. And he cooked up Donovan Peoples-Jones. But we're supposed to, quote, let Brad cook. Brad has done nothing at the trade deadline to garner any trust, or another thing I despise. I hate this term, relax. I hate when somebody tells a Detroit Lions fan to relax. You know what I'm going to do? I'm about to take you back down memory lane. We going down memory lane. Your Detroit Lions were the first team in NFL history to lose 16 games in a regular season. You want to go back down memory lane? Remember when, if you're local, for all of these people that live outside of the city, there was a time that we couldn't watch the games because Ford Field or the Silverdome didn't sell out. They call it a blackout. We had to follow this team on the radio. This is before smartphones were a thing. So we had to ask what was going on. We had to go to the car and cut on 97.1 or 105.1. No, 96.3, whatever Mark Champion used to do. We used to go there. We used to listen. That's how so the same guys that trust the that's how desperate we were to watch a team lose every game. Memory lane. Detroit Lions, the only NFC team to not appear in a Super Bowl. The only NFC team to not appear in a Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions are the only OG team to not appear in a Super Bowl. 1934. The Baltimore Ravens were the Cleveland Browns. When they moved to Baltimore, all the way to Baltimore to hang with the wretched, what happened? They reset. The Cleveland Browns of old are now the Baltimore Ravens. The new Cleveland Browns are younger than the Detroit Lions. And then you have the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Two expansion franchises. Remember when David Carr used to play for the Houston Texans and he was sacked like 178 times? I cannot stand relax. We have been relaxed. We have waited long enough. We have been through what no other fan base has been through. And guess what? We still here. And we still selling out the stadium. And we still traveling to road games. And we still rocking the Honolulu Blue. So don't trust the process. Relax. Let Brad cook. All of that stuff. All of that's great. But we ain't done nothing yet. Now, once Brad bring me a Super Bowl, you can cook all you want to. Matter of fact, I'll go shopping for you, bruh. You just give me a list and I'll pay for it too. But until you bring me that Super Bowl, what am I going to relax for? I don't understand this. Relax. So what, we can have another Donovan Peoples-Jones brought in here? Stop, bruh. So listen, my job on this platform is to give you raw and real, and emotional and real, and emotional and factual, and emotional and more emotion. But it's always backed off fact. And the fact is, Brad Holmes, for all the great that he does, he's still lacking. You've earned my trust to a certain point, but you got to finish the job. Because guess what? As I said earlier, you get to the point where we become the 49ers and we keep on getting there, but you can't finish. Then we're going to start having a different conversation. I hope that I never see that happen with the Detroit Lions. I really do. Because the city deserves more than that. Brad and Dan are great. They are. But this is a performance-based business. You got to finish. You got to finish. So when we win our first Super Bowl, I'll relax. When we can check another thing off, you know it feels great. I don't know if is it just me? You know what feels great? Oh, the Detroit Lions haven't won a playoff game in 30 years. Done. Oh, the Detroit Lions have never won the NFC North. Done. Aren't you happy we don't have to talk about that anymore? Oh, the Detroit Lions never hosted a game in Ford Field. Done. 2 more to go. Make the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. And you know what? There's a third one too that I think keeps getting glossed. We have never won the NFC. That comes with a Super Bowl berth. So this is a happy fan. I'm happy. I have seen what this regime is capable of doing. But to tell a Lions fan to relax, to me, that's ridiculous. What are we relaxing for? Relaxed is why we are where we are. Relaxed is trading for Donovan Peoples-Jones at the trade deadline. That's relaxed. So when we win our first Super Bowl, then I'll RELAX. Until then, I'm going to be the same way. You think the Chiefs are relaxed? The Chiefs ain't relaxed. They traded for DeAndre Hopkins and Josh Uche. You think they relaxed? No. They trying to dominate and trying to win. And it grinds my gears out. You know what? Here's the last one I forgot. We going long today. I forgot. Another one that comes from fans is a dynasty. Are you kidding me? Detroit Lions fans have become so arrogant that we're going to say the word dynasty and we ain't won nothing. To have a dynasty, you got to win one. You got to at least win one. Dynasty conversation don't even start till you get 2. And you got to get 2 in a few. If you win 1 every 20 years, that ain't no dynasty. 1 every 10 years, that ain't no dynasty. When you start talking about 2 in 5 years, now we talking dynasty. But before we get there, we got to win one. And there's the segment of ruffling feathers, which is what I do best. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is my happy face.